confirmed. Aaron Rodgers is a Steeler. More than 80 days after the start of free agency and 10 weeks after first visiting the team, the four-time MVP and Pittsburgh agreed to a one-year deal. Rodgers will join in time for next week's mandatory minicamp, which opens Tuesday. Oh, by the way, the Steelers' first regular season opponent, the Jets. The helmet Rodgers is wearing right there. That's a big old update to the Fowler Fire for this week. We're here to download all the info. Jeremy Fowler. Jeremy, 41 years old is Aaron Rodgers. Turns 42 in December. What do the Steelers assume they're getting with the veteran QB?
Well, Phil, they do believe that they get the best field vision from a quarterback that they've had since Ben Roethlisberger, that he can solve problems for them as a line of scrimmage. They haven't really had that. He can get solutions and figure things out with his mind. They believe he still has plus arm strength. They know the mobility is an issue. Like, they're not hiding from that. So the offensive line is going to have to be good. But in Rodgers' talks with the Steelers, they were sure that he's been keeping in good shape. He's been training out in L.A. He has been preparing to play coming into town really any day now to get ready for minicamp. They also believe, the Steelers, that their receivers are young, hungry, and smart. They believe that's a good fit with what Rodgers likes, because he does all that line of scrimmage, hand signal stuff. Like, they got to get on the same page, so they have to be smart.
And one of those workouts in L.A. was with DK Metcalf at UCLA, so building the report even before he officially put pen to paper. Kirk Cousins, the possible backup plan for Rodgers in Pittsburgh if that didn't work out. So the natural trickle down, what's next for Cousins?
This hurts. I mean, there's no other way around it. There's not a quarterback available job or a path for Cousins to go somewhere else and start right now. So there was probably a hope from his camp that, like, hey, if something were to happen to Rodgers, if he decided to retire, maybe the Steelers would make some sort of move, or at least call Atlanta to see what it would cost. So right now, there's not a lot of movement. You know, you got the New Orleans Saints out there. They've got some young quarterbacks, but they need to make a move with their in division. So Atlanta's probably not going to want to do that. So there are two paths for the Falcons and Cousins here. You either ride this out, you pay him that money, that $27.5 million in guaranteed salary this year, or you wait till maybe there's an injury in training camp, maybe somebody gets hurt. That opens an avenue for Cousins for potential deal. But right now, like, this has been really slow to the point where maybe in March, if there was a team that was willing to make some sort of movement, the Cleveland Browns, before they added a gazillion quarterbacks to their quarterback room, that would have made a lot of sense. As one source told me, if the Falcons were willing to take like $7 or $8 million on an offset deal, then this would have got done probably. But Atlanta wants somebody to cover a large portion of that contract. That's been the issue.
Still a lot of guaranteed dollars to soften the blow for Cousins. Jeremy, an injury we're keeping an eye on right now, Anthony Richardson in that shoulder. What's the potential this could linger into training camp?
It could linger. The plan right now is for rest. So Anthony Richardson reported to the team that he had some agitation, some inflammation in that shoulder stemming from that AC joint injury he had in 2023. They got some scans done. They got noted surgeon Neil Elitrosh involved. He's the one who did the surgery 2 years ago. So talking to the people from the team and player side, I don't get a sense that there's a major concern of anything structural or long-term right now, but it is a slippery slope with shoulder injuries that could linger. So they're hopeful that with rest, that he will be fully ready for training camp come the start of it for that quarterback battle with Daniel Jones. Part of it is Richardson has been going pretty hard this offseason, has thrown a lot. He's getting ready for this battle, and then now he gets some sorted. So not major right now, but it's something that could linger.
And Chris Ballard was not shy about using the word competition when talking about the QB status for Indianapolis.
In Atlanta. Aaron Rodgers finally signs with the Steelers. Pittsburgh's looking for the quarterback to put them over the hump. They think the four-time MVP is the guy, the 41-year-old Rodgers, looking for the old magic after a down season and getting released by the Jets. And by the old magic, I'm talking about the last time he sat atop the mountaintop when the Packers faced the Steelers in Super Bowl 45. It was 2011, and a 27-year-old Rodgers threw for 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks in their win. He was named MVP of that game, but of course that is Rodgers' only Super Bowl win in his 20-year career. Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers more with our girl, NFL analyst Mina Kimes. We just showed the flashback of the Super Bowl. Certainly he's not the same quarterback he was 14 years ago. Where are their concerns level for fit here for you?
It's an odd fit in some ways. It's not impossible, but when I think about Arthur Smith and the offense in Pittsburgh, I think under center, play action, condensed formations, multiple tight ends. When I think about Aaron Rodgers and what he likes to run, I think about him being in the gun, reading things out, pre-post snap, looking for matchups. When he was with Matt LaFleur, who was, by the way, tied to Arthur Smith, Tennessee, there was a little bit of a conflict, I think, between those styles. And they arrived, by the way, in Green Bay at a perfect union. Is he capable of doing that at this point in his career with Arthur Smith? I don't know, but it could be necessary for this offense to be any better than it was last season.
Yeah, I mean, they've been trying to solve this riddle since Roethlisberger retired in 2021. Since then, the Steelers have combined for the fewest touchdown passes in the league. And Rodgers for himself averaged career lows in yards per attempt and yards per dropback last year. Bettors are not exactly impressed by the Steelers' acquisition of Rodgers. Pittsburgh only has 5-1 odds, according to ESPN Bet Sportsbook, to win the division, just to win the AFC North next season. The Ravens remain an odds-on favorite to win a third straight division title. So I'm not even going to have you rank the 41-year-old quarterback in terms of quarterbacks in the entire league, Nina. Just where does he sit right now in the division?
Pretty comfortably third. And in his defense, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson are like at the top of the NFL. They're both top 4 quarterbacks in this league. But, there's a pretty significant gap between them and Rodgers. And then behind them, of course, is a giant question mark in Cleveland. We're talking about either Joe Flacco or Shedeur Sanders or, anyone, Dylan Gabriel. So I think while it could potentially, I want to hesitate, I'm not even going to say certainly, be an upgrade for Pittsburgh over what they got last year, I don't see any world in which they leapfrog the other 2 teams in their division in Baltimore and Cincinnati.
Yeah, ultimately, that Pittsburgh team with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson did make the playoffs, but that's been the issue for Pittsburgh, winning a playoff game. And Aaron Rodgers had his worst QBR of his entire career last season with the Jets.
Welcome our NFL analyst, Kevin Clark. What do you make of the fit with Rodgers and the Steelers?
It's the best available option for both sides. I know people Rodgers' age who settled in their life, and it worked out for them, okay? And so this is, in his situation, he can still do things pre-snap. He can still sling the ball down the field. He can't move as well. People say, oh, if only he could move. If he could move, he wouldn't be available for a 1-year deal on June 7th. He'd still be an MVP candidate. But if you're looking at the Steelers, you're looking at all the available options, and he's the best one. What do the Steelers provide him? Well, they provide him DK Metcalf, who's obviously the #1 receiver in this league, and a running game, and a offensive coordinator in Arthur Smith who's going to use play action. I hope he embraces that. He did not in New York. The Matt LaFleur offense in Green Bay worked with Aaron Rodgers. I want to see a merger between the Rodgers offense and the Arthur Smith offense, similar to what we had in Green Bay.
And you can't overstate the stability of an organization like the Steelers to play into this. I think it's going to be a fun watch throughout the rest of the season.
I completely agree with you. The big thing is the Jets didn't want anybody bigger than the coach. Nobody in Pittsburgh is bigger than the coach.
That's right.
Nobody.
Or the organization.
In the town. McAfee sold out the arena, so maybe him there in Pittsburgh. But everybody else, it's 1A, 1B.
Outside of Indianapolis. Hey, Rodgers was the last major free agent domino to fall, but what offensive move do you believe stood above the rest?
I'm looking at Devontae Adams here, and I think people kind of rolled their eyes because that veteran outside receiver in Los Angeles has flopped in the past. Sammy Watkins being one, Allen Robinson didn't perform, but I'm looking at Devontae Adams, the way he finished the season in a bad offense. He still got open at a top 15 rate in this league. It's a cheap option. Puka Nacua is going to do most of the work there between McVay, Stafford coming back. This is a legitimate Super Bowl team. Right? The young guys on defense are going to gel. Garrett Verse, Braden Fisk, those guys, Ken Kitchens, are going to take another leap in year 2. I think it's a special team, and I think Devontae Adams doesn't have to do a lot to be a star here.
Back half of the season, the Rams really came on to get into the postseason. It's a fun young team to watch with a future Hall of Fame quarterback of their own right.